Yuji Naka is a game designer, producer, and programmer who is one of the creators of the famous series Sonic the Hedgehog. Before this, Naka learned how to code by copying and debugging video game code that was printed in video game magazines at the time. This experience would be the reason why Naka decided not to go to college and chose to stay in his hometown of Osaka in Japan. In 1983, Sega was hiring assistants for programming, and Naka decided to apply for a job which he received in 1984. During this time, Naka would basically live at the Sega office due to the game development process at the time being one game every 1 to 2 months. In 1989, Naka came up with an idea of a game that could compete with Nintendo's Super Mario franchise, which would catch the attention of Sega's president Hayao Nakayama. Naka then created a prototype of a game involving a character that could move fast and roll up into a ball to move and jump to attack their enemies. The idea of a hedgehog came from Naka's high school notebook. However, he was not sure whether to use the concept or not. Luckily, the character concept would be expanded upon by artist Naoto Oshima. The process of making Sonic the Hedgehog took a year and a half, which was the longest time Naka had worked on a project beforehand. Despite the game's overall success, Naka left Sega of Japan due to feeling that he did not receive the credit he deserved. After leaving Sega of Japan, Naka decided to join the Sega Technical Institute in California due to more creative freedom and a pay increase. While in California, Naka worked on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. However, despite the game's success, Naka did not enjoy it due to the language barrier and cultural differences that he was given while working at the Sega Technical Institute. After the second game's release, Naka did not want to work with the American development staff, and so a team consisting of only Japanese developers was made to create Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic & Knuckles. During the production of the two games, Naka made a specific hardware request that would be the lock-on cartridge technology of Sonic & Knuckles to combine the two games to make a complete experience which would meet deadlines. Following the release of Sonic & Knuckles, Naka would then return to Japan to work for Sega of Japan once again. After returning to Japan, Naka became a producer and one of the founders of the Sonic Team brand for Sega. Naka would then work on a new game for the Sega Saturn called Nights into Dreams. Despite this, Naka did not like that the Sega Saturn was not a true 3D console, and he regretted not making a Sonic game for it, which was deemed why the Sega Saturn failed. Originally, there was going to be a Sonic game called Sonic X-Treme, developed by the Sega Technology Institute in America. However, the game was cancelled, with one of the reasons being Naka wanted to keep control over the Sonic Team franchise and technology. In 1996, Naka was part of the team that created the Sega Dreamcast, and the reason why Sonic Adventure ended up on the Dreamcast. Afterwards, Naka would continue making other games such as Choo Choo Rocket and became the CEO of Sonic Team, in order to preserve the brand name during Sega's restructuring process before pulling out of the console market in 2001. In 2006, during mid-development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, Naka would leave Sega for good and begin making his own game company called Probe, and a subsidiary company of Square Enix called the Ballon Company.